Welcome to the Ingress Insights podcast, hosted by PkmnTrainerJ. Ingress Insights is a podcast about the Niantic game Ingress. Listen each week for the latest news, updates and rumours. Let us know your thoughts by leaving a voice message or emailing us at the links in the show notes.
Additional intel available.
Hey agents, just as a heads up, this episode isn't primarily about Ingress, as you hopefully noticed by the image and the title. This is just me recapping my time at the Pokemon GO Fest in Paris, so there'll be some talk about Pokemon GO and just some general stuff. I obviously did play Ingress in Paris, so I'll cover that in there as well. But if you do want to skip this one, if you don't want any non-Ingress stuff, do feel free to go ahead, I understand. That being said, I'll get into it now. Hello, agents. So in June, I attended the Pokemon GO Fest in Paris. I just want to record some thoughts and what I did Ingress related, Pokemon GO related in an episode. So that's what this is. So I've broken things down into like days just so I know what to talk about roughly. It's a bit less planned than my usual podcast. So if I go on a ramble or a rant, then please do comment and let me know I did so I know what to do for next time. So for me, I'm in the UK, so I had to go and travel into London via train. That was a couple of hours. It wasn't too bad. Went into London and then off onto the Eurostar, which I've never travelled on before. I did give myself plenty of time to get around, and unfortunately there was a fatality when I was going there, so it caused a small delay, and we arrived about 45 minutes later than planned into Paris. No issues with customs and things like that. The usual thing I do at customs is forget to remove a metal belt. But I did remember to do that this time. I think previously I've been caught with like AirPods or Pokewalker and stuff in my pocket. I forget I'm the person that gets beat because I've forgotten to unpack my pockets. For the Ingress Insights podcast, I did record an episode about removing invalid portals previously, just so that could go up so you didn't miss an episode on there whilst I was busy. I went with my usual Ingress bag that you'll see me with at Anomalies, got all the badges and things on. For Ingress stuff, I remember to do hacks on the train on the way there and did some edits as well as things that are nearby just to kind of add to the recon queue. The departure lounge in Eurostar was a bit chaotic, but maybe not as bad as it would have been during peak hours. I went a little later in the day. And the Eurostar itself was all right, plenty of leg room and stuff, and I didn't have a USB port or a mirror at my seat that got advertised on the screens, but I had enough, and I managed to find a plug port on there when the person next to me got up, so I could fumble around without looking too insane. I did make plans on the first day to stock up some Paris scans ready for second Sunday, but if you listen to the episode, you know that I messed that up. Well, oh no, I didn't mess that up. I messed it up in July. June one was fine. Some of the Paris scans went. So I then arrived in Paris pretty late on the Friday, went straight to a meal with some other people I knew that were attending. There was plenty of things to hack on the way back to the Airbnb where I was staying with all of them. And then took public transport back. The Paris metro is basically like the London Underground, except a little more air conditioned unless you've been on the Elizabethan line. And then we got back pretty late. I just crashed out. It was way too hot for me, and then had no duvet, just to blanket, and went straight off to sleep until the next morning. So that was my day one. For the second day, I got to chat a bit more with the people I was staying with. They're all nice people, and I took an Uber for the first time in my life. I've never taken an Uber before. At nearly, I'm not going to tell my age, but I definitely feel I should have taken an Uber before now. And I did notice on the way we've got bendy buses. I didn't know whether that's like a London thing that Paris copied or whether they copied London, because we get similar things here. The Saturday was my play day at the park, so I didn't get any breakfast. I just went straight off to the event. The decorations and music were good to lead up, and getting into there, seeing all the merchants, seeing everyone around, everyone being excited to play was really great. I even saw a couple of people that were live streaming the event with like cameras attached to their chests and things like that, which was fun. There were various themed areas which were cool. There was a notable trainer tent. I don't think I've heard of any of them, maybe a couple of gaming, but that's about it. But that's fair. They won't know me as an Ingress person, so I don't mind. It was very hot in Paris, so a lot of playing in the shade, make sure I had lots of water. The hydration stations were also Pokestops, so you could spin those and get things. I must have filled a water bottle out 12 times when I was walking around. And then down at the end of the park, there was the Wayfarer tent and the Pokemon Go Community Ambassador tent, as well as a load of food trucks. One thing I did make in my notes, I had really good coffee from a place there called Cafe Bulb and a very buttery croissant as well. My French was also tested when I placed an order, and they told me I was order number 175, and then they said that to me in English, and then they said the number in French. So I had to do a quick calculation in my head, because I think the French is 160 10 5 basically. But all the food was nice, very good. There were obviously toilets at the event. And one of the things that made me laugh was someone called them Gigantamax Pissus due to the shape. So it's basically a divided wooden thing for those taking everything down into a bucket. Or you had the stores where you just throw in sawdust when you're done. I played Ingress on the way back to the Airbnb as well. Picked up 27, 28 shinies and went out for another meal. All that food was really good. And after midnight, again, I crashed, went straight to bed. I was knackered by that day. The third day, the Sunday, I was on the Wayfarer tent doing a bit of a shift there to engage with trainers to explain what Wayfarer is and how they can get involved, how they could earn prizes. So you'll see at various Wayfarer events where they give out like t-shirts, water bottles, things like that. So myself and some other Wayfarer ambassadors are working at the tent to give those out and discuss Wayfarer with people. I did see one person show the Recon badge, so that was nice to see, but everyone else just showing their Wayfarer one on Pokemon Go. There was quite a lot of swag, but it did quickly go, and there's a lot of time explaining Wayfarer to people. Someone did bring up the 20-meter rule, because if you remember in Ingress, it used to be the main source of way spots, so it had to go into Ingress first and therefore meet the 20-meter rule and then go into other games from there. So explaining that wasn't the case. There were a handful of people saying that they didn't want to submit way spots because they were scared to get warnings or suspensions, or they'd read things online. So it's a case of breaking that down, explaining what you see online is not necessarily true. I did also wonder after this what players in that mindset do. Are they happy with the Pokestops they've got in their area, or was someone still submitting from Ingress and then it was just porting over into Pokemon Go? Obviously, that won't happen now with the split, but it's a bit of a weird one. I realised as I was leaving the Wayfarer tent to go and get the Eurostar, I'd forgotten to eat breakfast, so I grabbed food from the Eurostar departure lounge and then found out that was delayed for 70 minutes. So that was fantastic. I did do some raids at the departure lounge with a few people that were nearby, so that was nice. But I'd given myself a bit of time in between to rest and eat, pick up some stuff. Then I managed to have a bit of a small kip on the train. I downloaded a few podcasts like Load Up podcast, Electoral Dysfunction, and 2 episodes of Doctor Who, which now I can't remember the titles of, but the one with Missy and the Master in and the Black Hole, and A Christmas Carol, because I like that one. So those kind of sent me off to sleep, and then I was ready to get off, get back home, and just because the Sunday was actually Father's Day, so going through all of that as well on the Sunday meant it was a super busy weekend for me. I might go into more detail in this in the future. I'll probably do an episode about what Ingress can learn from Pokemon Go Fest and get a bit more detail on there. But for now, it's just a very quick travel blog thing. I didn't go to see the Eiffel Tower or Arc de Triomphe, anything like that. It was mainly just go in, go to the event. So probably next time, wherever it is, I'll book a longer stay. It was a bit touch and go. I can't remember the phrase. Touch and go. That's the one. Because my passport only arrived like 2 days before I needed to go. So I didn't really book anything or plan much out other than go to the event, catch some Pokemon, go home. Yeah, that's it. I just wanted to add in a little extra episode in here discussing what happened when I went to Pokemon Go Fest. Like I said, I did still play a lot of Ingress. So I was switching between Pokemon Go and Ingress, walking around the park. Many of the Pokestops at the park are just in Pokemon Go, created for the event. So there wasn't many portals in the park. Still enough. Still got some scans, still got some uniques. That was nice, but maybe not as much as I would have done if I was just there to play Ingress. But that's all from me for this time, agents. Hope you have a great day, whatever day this comes out, and happy hacking. Thank you, agents, for listening to the latest episode of the Ingress Insights podcast. If you'd like to help the podcast out, you can do that in a few ways. So first of all, rating the podcast on the podcast service you're listening to is always a great help, as well as leaving any comments on YouTube or Spotify if you're able to do that if you're listening on those channels. Ingress Insights also has a merch store over at tpublic.com/user/ingress-insights, where you can pick up badges and pins and t-shirts with the Ingress Insights logo on, and a few other little bits. There's also the Ko-fi store page, which has previous episodes of the podcast if you want to download those. They'll be out in batches over the next few months. You can also follow us on social media. So the main one we use is Instagram, which is under the name ingress.insights. And we also have a Blue Sky and a Threads, which you can find linked on the show notes to follow on there. If you have any feedback or episodes you'd like to see, or bonus episodes, things you want to cover, or you want to come on and chat about your experience playing Ingress, do let me know. You can contact us via email as well. And the email address is just ingressinsights@gmail.com. So you can send us anything there, voice messages, things you want me to discuss in future episodes, or anything you think I've missed and need to cover next time. Thank you again for listening, agents. Hope you have a great day and happy hacking.
Intel package transferred.